The ES has been Lexus's mid-size sedan for decades, and for 2026, it gets a full redesign. It also gets a bit of a rethink. Before we get into what's new and what's changed, do us a favor, hit like and subscribe below to get all of our latest content. With the discontinuation of the full-size Lexus LS, the lineup has been pared down quite a bit. Now it's really down to just this new ES and the supporting compact IS. That leaves some room for the ES to grow, and grow it did. It's 6.5 inches longer, 2.2 inches wider, and 4.5 inches taller. That makes it closer in size to the previous LS than the last generation ES. This new ES adopts Lexus's newest design language, which is way more angular and beveled. I like it a lot more, honestly. And I also like how they've incorporated a little bit of that Lexus spindle grille here. I've honestly never been a fan of that spindle grille, so seeing it here in a more tame light kind of pleases me. In the hood, there's this really complex section here that's been coved out, and I think it really helps to slim down some of that visual weight and maybe add a little hint of muscle underneath. Down the side, there's a lot going on, maybe a little bit too much for my taste, and that's mostly down to this black trim that sort of interrupts the design here and there. To me, it's almost like sneaker design with its graphical nature. Now down the side, we also have these recessed door handles, and in this top trim, soft closed doors. Further down, the ES has a very distinctive roofline that tapers down to almost a fastback, sporty look. And I really like it. It's distinctive, especially for a Lexus. And also back here, even though it looks like it could be a hatchback, it's actually a traditional trunk. Overall, I like the styling of this new ES, and I think it fills the role of its new mid and full-size mix really well. Here in the back, the angular styling continues with similar results. It's broken up here with this nice light bar that spans from side to side, and like a lot of other car makers, Lexus is spelling out their name rather than using their badge. Also down in the bottom corners, we have these L-shaped turn signals, which seem to be a styling cue that Lexus is going to carry forward into future models. This entry-level ES350e has a 74.7 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery pack in the floor. There's also a single electric motor up front producing 221 horsepower, which should be good enough to get it to 60 miles an hour in about 7.4 seconds. Range is also estimated at 307 miles. Above this is the ES500e, which is the dual motor version. Combined, they produce 338 horsepower and get to 60 in only 5.1 seconds. Range, however, drops to 276 miles. All ES models come with a NACS charge port, which can charge at a rate up to 150 kilowatts, which should get you from 10% to 80% in about 28 minutes. It does come with CCS and J1772 adapters too, along with a dual mode charge cable. These specs really aren't all that impressive, but let's see how it all comes together on the road. Now, while the specs aren't all that impressive, this ES, even in base form, does not feel slow. Like almost any EV, that's helped by its immediate power delivery. You don't have to wait for an internal combustion engine to spool up to get all your power. Instead, it just sort of launches you out there when you need it. Now, it's not overly powerful either like some other EVs where it can feel a little herky-jerky. It's just really smooth, and built into the system are some actual comfort drive settings that smooth things out even more. So if you have passengers that are maybe a little queasy, EVs can be a little on-off, a little binary as far as a little too harsh with the acceleration or braking, so that kind of smooths it out as well. Unlike a lot of its rivals, this is tuned for comfort, and it does it really well. Even with these large 21-inch wheels, it's soaking up the bumps just fine. And that's sort of what I expect from any Lexus. They don't pretend to be the sporty alternative. They're here for luxury and comfort, and they do it really well. As you'd expect also, it's quiet as a crypt in here, and with active noise cancellation, you're not getting a lot of that boominess that you would get with some of the older EVs. Now, the one thing I wish the ES had was one-pedal driving. Instead, it gives you 4 different levels of brake regeneration, but none of them will bring you down to a complete stop. Now, I always prefer driving in one-pedal mode, and even though I understand that some car makers don't think it's the most efficient way to drive or the smoothest way to drive, I think they should at least offer it as an option. It's just a little tick box in the settings, and they can just move on from there. When it comes to visibility, it's actually pretty decent. This roof pillar here is fairly narrow, and I have a above average view elsewhere around. The seats are also really nicely cushioned for all-day comfort, and the ventilation is working pretty well on this slightly humid day. With Lexus focusing on luxury and comfort, I think they nailed it with this ES. But there's a whole lot more to talk about with the interior, so let's pull over and talk about that. The ES 350e and 500e are both offered in premium and luxury trim levels. Standard premium features include this sunroof, this large 14-inch infotainment touchscreen, this 12.3-inch digital instrument panel, Nulux synthetic leather upholstery, heated and ventilated front seats, a heated steering wheel, and a 10-speaker audio system with satellite radio and Spotify streaming audio. Finally, you get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, along with this wireless charging pad. There's also an optional dual-tray wireless charger. When it comes to design, the Lexus ES has an appropriately modern and clean design. The dashboard is just sort of plain and horizontal, accented by this massive touchscreen in the middle. Now, materials quality is pretty sturdy, actually nicer than I'm used to from Lexus. They typically use some flimsier pieces here and there, but everything here has a nice substantial feel to it. Here in this top luxury trim, we also get this really distinctive laminated bamboo element. Overall, it just warms things up quite a bit and just makes it a little more homey. This ES also uses Lexus's latest infotainment system, which simplifies things. It has this new home button here, which really helps just to find your bearings when you're using it. Sometimes it's just easier to start from the home page rather than where you were initially, and yeah, it's actually a big step forward for them. Also helping matters are customizable widgets that let you use your most commonly used features and just a little quicker access to them. Now, in addition to this really distinctive bamboo element, the luxury trim also adds soft closed doors, premium leather upholstery, sunshades for the side and rear windows, a 17-speaker Mark Levinson premium audio system, and a digital key option. Safety features include a driver monitor, parking sensors, auto reverse braking when you're parking, an automated parking system, lane change assist, traffic jam assist, a digital rear view mirror, surround view camera, and a head-up display. When it comes to storage, the ES, it meets expectation, but it's really not that impressive. You have rather small cup holders here, but you do have this large center armrest bin with dual hinge lid. The door pockets are on the small side, and this wireless phone charger doesn't really have a grippy surface to keep your phone from sliding around. With the ES growing in size to almost LS proportions, it really opens it up to more luxury options, including a rear seat executive package, which is what we have here. It's available only on the electric models in the top luxury trim. And what do you get? Well, you get rear massaging seats, multi-zone climate control with a rear seat controller, heated and ventilated rear seats, a two-way power adjustable rear driver's side passenger seat, and a four-way passenger side seat with an ottoman. You also get these pillow-type rear seat headrests and two USB-C ports in the center armrest. One thing I'm already pleased with is that this center armrest isn't fixed. You can fold it back up and still have a 5-passenger sedan. Now, when you do have this folded down, you have all the typical controls here for climate as well as seat controls. You also have a control here for the rear sunshade, which is way more accessible for the passengers back here than it is for the driver. What's missing, however, are any controls for audio or navigation. So this is really just about controlling the seats and giving these passengers the ultimate in luxury. Now, in this fully reclined mode, it really is a lot like business class. I have a wealth of room. I'm really nicely angled like this. The seats really just cradle me in nicely. And while the massage isn't all that aggressive, it's nice to have it anyway. Here in the trunk, we have a generous 18.3 cubic feet of cargo space, and as you can see, it's a very wide and usable volume. With the executive rear seat package, we do have a center pass-through, and we also have these handy hooks for your shopping bags. Now, standard, it comes with a power trunk lid, but you can get hands-free operation as an option. Prices start just under $49,000 for the ES 350e Premium, and just under $52,000 for the ES 500e Premium. It's notable because they both cost less than their hybrid counterparts. But that gets flipped when you move to the luxury trims, as these cost quite a bit more, starting just above $57,000 and $60,000 respectively for the luxury trim. Overall, I think this ES has accomplished what it set out to do, which is deliver all-electric, comfortable touring at a pretty decent price. At this price, it really undercuts its German rivals that include the BMW i5, the Audi A6 e-tron, as well as the Mercedes-Benz EQE. And we're talking about savings between $6,000 and $10,000 depending on trim level and options. Besides that, I'd maybe also consider the smaller Mercedes-Benz CLA, which has just an absurd amount of range. But honestly, it's not quite as comfortable or as convenient. So if you're looking for a really nice, comfortable EV that won't break the bank, I really think the 2026 Lexus ES is your best bet. But what would you do? Would you go for the new ES or stick with the tried and true BMW, Audi, and Mercedes rivals? Let us know in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons below, and we'll see you in the next review.